I'm Joe Gigworks. I want to thank everybody for coming in today and to review with us what we think is a great opportunity for organizations that have to create a lot of content, and particularly those that have regulatory constraints against the type of content and documents that they have to create and generate and send out as part of their practice. So with this, I'm Joe Gigworks. I'm the managing partner of Gigworks. And we're going to be previewing our solution and its application to a number of companies out there and types of enterprises using Nintex as a tool for this, one of our most and dearest trusted partners. So typical housekeeping up front on these things, a little bit about ourselves. Gigworks has been in business now since 2001. We've been a gold partner since we began our practice. Have won a number of Microsoft and other awards throughout the industry over the years, and have had a very deep understanding and subsequent close relationship with Microsoft over those years because of our expertise as information architects as it relates to SharePoint as a platform to build compelling business solutions. And with that, because of that relationship and that acknowledged expertise, we've been invited into their partner evidence program for every iteration since SharePoint 2007. And likewise, Nintex, we're one of the top Nintex partners globally, serve regularly on their advisory board, and have on our staff Nintex technical evangelists. Likewise, we have virtual technology evangelists on the Microsoft side for their enterprise group. So clear recognition from our industry peers as to the high-end capabilities and services we can offer around business solutions. Both based upon geography and experience, we have a wide range of customers across industries over the years, but in particular have done a lot with professional services, inclusive of legal, financial services, healthcare, architecture, engineering, and construction. And again, particularly around today's webcast, the ability to create content, regulate content, manage content. We've always been very bullish on structured and controlled content. We have a number of package solutions and offerings that we bring to our clients, and it's been a great success. We have our premium advisory services plan. Particularly with what's going on in the land of hybrid and cloud and where Microsoft has been moving since the 2013 stack, there's a huge opportunity right now and challenge to modernize the enterprise. So in other words, those of you who have been running SharePoint for many years, all those custom WSPs that you've introduced on the farm level to get your enterprise to do what it needs to do on the SharePoint platform, those will not go with you to the cloud. But subsequently, there's the modern application model, of which we have deep experience and have our own software company as well based upon that technology and approach. But of course, there's the opportunity with Nintex as well to modernize our enterprise to get ready for that hybrid and eventual move out into the cloud. Our advisory services plans are very comprehensive, expertise in back-end, front-end, cloud services, Nintex. And for those of you who are interested, we're happy to send you a brochure. Likewise, for many years now, we've run a SharePoint and now Office 365 workshop. We're incredibly focused on context, and our workshops are unique in that it's not a workshop around sort of a generic understanding of the platform. It's very targeted and specific. So if you're going from 13 to 16, what's new, what's different, what are those features? And the workshop concludes with a hands-on workshop where we request of our clients, give us some context. Tell us some of the things you're trying to achieve on the platform. Such a big platform. Is your focus around business intelligence? Is it around document management? Well, knowing that, we can give a contextualized workshop that really accelerates our clients' move into new iterations of the platform and really does a great job of helping reveal the value they can continue to add to their organization. With this, we also have business solution planning. We really do fashion ourselves as information architects. We have all the requisite skills around infrastructure and the like, which you would expect, but our focus has been for the longest time on information architecture, on understanding the business requirements and really building a compelling user experience with high business value. And so with that, our abilities to plan and architect solutions, we really do regard as second to none, and that's also a program we have to offer. Being that this is a Nintex webcast, we have workflow quick starts in kind around Nintex, and starter programs around compliance, approval, and workflow. The modernization assessment, which we also offer, is just a quick view of what you have and what you're going to need to do, and quick starts around what you're going to see here today as well. So getting into the crux of this, we position Nintex in this. We get questions from clients, well, you know, can't we just do this in SharePoint? And SharePoint's a remarkable platform, but it is in point of fact a platform. And Microsoft itself has recognized Nintex for 2-3 years running now as their worldwide partner of the year, because especially as it relates, as you go into Office 365, these tools that exist in the marketplace are not a recognition of a deficit of SharePoint as a platform. It's there because there are features that just don't exist out of the box. You want to reduce the risk, drive high return on investment. Why build stuff that other people have already built? You have specific needs based upon your industry or your department. And you want to get this up quickly and satisfy regulatory requirements, and know that ongoing, as the underlying platform changes, you have experts who are focused on specific areas of solution that will keep abreast of those changes, maintain what's required to move it along with the platform, and you get that security and assurance. And frankly, it's just cheaper in the long run, especially if you're going to be building a number of solutions of type. So Nintex, the premier workflow third party for SharePoint, is incredibly comprehensive. They have the Nintex Workflow Cloud, which is non-SharePoint dependent. They have Nintex for Office 365, on-prem, flexible pricing plans. But the real value of Nintex is the speed at which you can build highly complex workflows with no code, design them in a browser, and make them reusable templates and modules, and save them in version workflows. Create snippets of workflows that have utility in other workflows that you can build into a library, a catalog of actions that you develop over time. What this does is it means you can build very high value, very scalable solutions with much greater speed. And again, particularly with the cloud, you're not building anything in Visual Studio anymore, and certainly compared to Designer, an okay tool. The Designer is wanting in certain features that far and above Nintex exceeds. The other aspects of Nintex are around their reporting engine, which is Hawkeye. And with Hawkeye, the ability to really visualize the ROI of a business process, not how many workflows are outstanding or being processed, but those workflows and the data you captured, you know, how many check requests did we put out by geography, how much money are we spending as it relates to travel to the east? Well, if that's being captured in a form and the workflows are executing those approvals and the like, all that data is captured and available for user and business unit analytics in real time. So this is all about digital transformation, ballyhooed sort of buzz term out there, but it really is the transformation of the way the enterprise addresses information solutions. With the cloud, with more and more tools, I've often likened this to, you know, you went from linear programming, where I started way back when, to object-oriented and relational programming, and SharePoint, and now those other apps in the cloud. This is really a huge assembly of components, just different pieces off the shelf that have their own complexities and challenges to put together. But at the end of the day, what this really represents is the ability to create compelling cloud-based solutions that get you closer to your customers, that do an incredible benefit of increase of efficiency, and you're more agile, you can move quicker. And with that, of course, you're more competitive and profitable in the marketplace. So Nintex, huge stack of things that it offers, but one of the things that we found very compelling over the last few years as Nintex moved into document generation as part of its stack is the real value around intelligently creating content and documents that drive your business and you have to distribute. And again, even moreover, that if they have to be reviewed and you have to prove authority of that content, Well, the ability to do this programmatically, to create something that's reusable and bulletproof, accurate, compliant, tracked through Hawkeye and other mechanisms. The ability to pull in data from Salesforce, language sitting inside SharePoint, a proprietary backend in SQL or Oracle, and to pull all that information through a wizard intelligently from pretty much any data source you can think of, to then automate the creation of PDFs, PowerPoints, Excel. Well, the time savings on this and the return on investment is exponential. With the more paper you produce, the more you are challenged to review that paper and put it out there. Those documents, the more of that you do, the time savings and the ROI on this is just quite extraordinary. And so why would you want to automate the generation of content? What kind of content? It's a broad swath. So financial pitch books, absolutely regulated content as you go out in financial services. Statements of advice, even invoices, pipeline reviews, contracts, boilerplate contracts that may be very long but have 2 clauses that are different. Well, don't take a document of type and copy and paste and research what should go in there. Assemble it intelligently. The insurance industry, etc. Within pharma, you have the need to notify doctors and pharmacists and customers of any change in any of the products that you have released. Highly regulated and high risk when done inappropriately. This swath of things, and I'm not going to read everything at the slide at you, well, this is exactly what you want to automate this content around. Now, the other thing that Nintex really brings to bear is not only its ability to create these documents, but to front end it with their forms so you can build an intelligent decision tree, and then to connect it to this ever-increasing swath of services that exist out in the cloud with their pre-built connectors. So you want to pull in information from Salesforce and send it out through Adobe Sign or DocuSign, whatever. Odds are Nintex has already provided a very addressable, very easy way to ingest and consume that information into pretty much any process within inside your organization, let alone these documents. So we're going to do a demonstration today. The first demonstration we're going to really go over is the notion of a FINRA compliant activity. So use case would be if a group works with municipalities, they sell bonds on behalf of those entities, but they have FINRA compliance. And the assemblage of that content, the risks of putting in the wrong data, and then not having an approval trail to show that you are compliant. You try to do that with file systems and just standard operating procedures and email. Well, it is really, there's a much better way to do that. So what we're going to show you is this wizard-based approach to collect data via forms. We're going to pull in information from line of business systems and then automatically create a number of documents, for instance, broker-dealer documents or G17 regulatory for those of you in the industry, and then show the audit chain against that and then the reporting. So with that, I give you Neil Barkina, our Chief Technology Officer.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, so let me go ahead and make sure my screen is sharing. All right, there we go. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm going to be basically picking up where Joe left off. I'm going to be demonstrating some of the things that Joe was talking about and kind of go into a little bit more depth in terms of the capabilities and what you can do. As Joe set up, this is an application that we built for a very prominent financial services firm. They, as many of you folks were dealing with new regulatory that was coming down, and they just they needed a way of automating and managing all that. It was just really too much for them. So SharePoint was really the perfect platform we felt in order to build this solution. So the first thing that I'm showing you here is the landing page of this application. On the left-hand side, you've got all of the different deals that are going on. So These are the different customers. And each of them is a folder with a package of the deliverable documents that they need to generate, like as Joe mentioned, the G17, the BD approval, and many, many others. There was a lot of different templates that we had to automate. Over here on the right, you see some of those templates: closing memos, engagement letters. So again, if you guys are in the industry, I mean, this you know all the different documentation that you have to generate, and it's quite fast. So they wanted to be able to really not just streamline the process of it, the workflow of it, but also even kind of give them a leg up on the generation of this vast amounts of documents and templates. And that's exactly what we built for them. And then on the bottom, I'll also cover this a little bit later, is they wanted to be able to have also greater insights into the process itself. So they wanted some sophisticated reporting around how long things were taken, where the process was getting hung up, and also some specific metrics around this specific business process, what the size of the deals were, the municipality types, and so on. And they wanted to be able to drill down on that. So the first thing I'm going to start with is what they're called the issuer. So this is going to be a new customer or an existing customer. They wanted to have a pretty extensive sort of live web-based form to fill out all of the information and have some intelligence in there in terms of their business process. I'm going to go ahead and jump into one of these sample customers, this AP Pharma customer, and this just gives you a taste of some of the things that they're collecting here. So they wanted to be able to report on the issuer type, so whether it's healthcare, education, transportation, and so on. They wanted to be able to collect all of the different address information and the banker information. And this was information that they wanted to be able to centralize, so they didn't want to type this stuff over and over again. You know, they wanted to have one place to go in and say, here's the address, and then on the 15 other forms that we're going to generate later on, they didn't want to misspell the city or the state or the zip. They really wanted all that stuff centralized and streamlined, and that's why we chose this central form. They also wanted to be able to view additional templates right from within the same user experience. So, you know, shortening the number of clicks they had to go in order to view all of the information related to an issuer. So as an example, I can just jump right into the G17 part of it, see all of the information related to that form, make modifications, and hit save. And it's all part of this sort of same streamlined interface and work stream. Now, the next part is after you have an issuer, you're going to have to generate a transaction. So that would be in our sort of world, that would be a deal. They also wanted to have a couple of quick metrics off of these deals. So without even jumping into it, you could see that we were able to customize a couple of little KPIs for them to just quickly see whether we were on schedule, whether it was closed or priced or so on. I'm going to go ahead and click on this deal. And this is also a many-to-one relationship, so you can have more than one deal for the same customer, as all of us would hope. And again, in here, you can go in, fill out all the information for the deal. But not just that, you can also bring in information from the issuer level. So by linking it to that issuer, it's automatically brought in that banker information. It's brought in the address information, so I don't have to enter that in twice. You know, again and again, minimizing the amount of overwork and sort of copying and pasting was a really big, important piece of this. What they also wanted to do was to actually have folks take part in the workflow. So in this case, I've set myself up as the deal administrator and the underwriter, but this isn't just, you know, my name. This is actually knows who I am. So it actually now has me as part of the workflow. It can send me emails, it can assign me tasks, and so forth. I'm going to go in and show you one of the different documents that we can generate. So this is what's called the BD approval, PD pre-approval form. They wanted to be able to generate this form automatically, and also have some business logic in it. So you can see that they track things like the reason for the request, the type of request, and so on. And all of these little checkboxes, they're actually driving some of the rules that you'll see later on in the actual PDF that gets generated. So by checking something off, it might pull in an entire paragraph or snippet or hide something. So they wanted all those built-in rules, again, just to save them time in having to fill these things out. So I'm just going to keep this fairly simple. I'm going to change the amount requested here from 100,000 to 120,000. And I'm going to click Generate Pre-Approval. Another cool thing, just to point out, this is all integrated right into the form. So I didn't have to go to any other area to do this. I could do this all from one integrated user experience, which again was very important for them. Minimize the number of clicks, have a really easy to use system. So after generating that document, I'm going to go back to my home page, and let's take a look at this thing. So now I'm going to go into my deal files, and I'm going to select the customer. So in this case, it's going to be the AP Pharma customer. And you can see that this BD pre-approval has been generated just a few seconds ago. So this is all live. It literally just pulled in all of my information and actually created a PDF for me. So let's take a look. And now all of my information is now captured in this form. So the banker name, the branch, some of the different questions that I checked off, type of request, and so on. All this has been pulled in and generated. And again, this is a PDF, but you also have the option of generating Word docs. You can generate Excel docs. I think you can generate PowerPoints as well. So in terms of the Nintex document generation that this is using, there's a lot of different options that you have. You can pull in snippets from different document libraries and so on. So it's a pretty versatile solution stack. Another thing that I just wanted to show is some of the different types of templates. So if you were wondering, how does this work under the covers? I'm going to click on one of the more advanced sort of templates that we generated. This is what they call the closed deal checklist. And you can see essentially it's using just a series of different tags and codes embedded right in the Word document. And this is important because in order to actually set this all up, you really don't need to know much more than just how to use Microsoft Word. For those of you who have used Nintex, you're pretty used to the really ease of use, the drag and drop nature of the whole thing. And they kind of wanted to keep that consistent with the document generation piece, as with all of their products. I really think user experience is always very important. So you basically just use Microsoft Word. It's just an app that runs in the Word template, and you can literally drag and drop your different codes onto the page. And it really is that easy. Another thing that this also did was it actually sent out a workflow approval. So let me go ahead and open that up. So because I was set up as the underwriter, I now get this task assigned to me, and I can approve this just from my email. This is another one of these really neat little Nintex features called lazy approval. I'm just going to type in approved, and away that goes. And all of the stuff about that process can be customized. Everything from the email language to the actual replies that you have to type. So, if you don't want approved, you can type completed. You can, the admins of the system can define all of those different codes. So let's go back to the reporting now. I'll just show you a couple of things here. So under the covers, this is actually using Power BI as its technology. A great set of tools, which gives you the ability to not just get the reports, but also drill down and interact with it. So they wanted to be able to see, based on the process that was executed, which ones were running or completed, and also drill down on the amount requested, and so on. And you can see that whenever I click on any of these slices, it actually filters all of the other reports. So the thing is totally interactive. And because it uses Power BI, you get all of the benefits of that platform. So you can get this stuff on your mobile phone. You get all the benefits of having this be, fully HTML5 app, runs in pretty much any browser. And you also have the ability to customize your own dashboards using, Power BI's excellent suite of tools. Over here, I'm just going to show you kind of what the workflow looks like. So in this case, it's pretty basic. I had 2 sets of approvals in here and the actual document generation action itself. So again, this uses nothing more than just, Microsoft Word. If you wanted to just, create additional tags, you would click Open and Tag. You can generate, again, different types of files. So I can generate PDF. I can generate in the original file type, which could have been either Word or Excel. And I could also add additional templates. You have options in terms of what the file name is going to be, the ultimate file output, and so on. A couple of advanced features. This also supports the ability to have tables. So let's say you wanted to have a fancy looking colored table in your Word document. It supports that as well. You can repeat tables. You can pull them from all the different data sources that Nintex supports, SQL and all these other, and Salesforce. And you can also do images as well. So if you wanted to put in fancy charts, any other images, it supports that as well. And then the rest of it is using essentially just the regular Nintex engine. So you can obviously have different approvals, and you can also integrate it with that reporting suite which I showed you, which is called Hawkeye. The way it integrates it uses these things called beacons. So you can essentially send out whatever data or sort of specific sort of filters that you're going to want to drill down on. You can set exactly where in the workflow it actually sends out those beacons. And in this case, I wanted to actually have some metrics around what was the amount rejected. So this was an important metric to me. I wanted that part of my data warehouse. So this actually will push that metric up into the Nintex Hawkeye application.
And of course, if you would like a deeper dive or one-on-one, we are more than happy to arrange that for a deeper conversation with any of you who might be interested. And again, thank you everybody for coming out today.